Well, good morning, folks. It's the September the 6th, Friday. Been a while since I did a video. Anyway, make a comment down there or something if you'd like to see a little bit more or whatever. But I haven't actually been running any videos of what I actually been doing, and I figured I'd just give you an update what I've been doing or what I got done. So as I got tires, see, I got tires mounted and put on the back. This is my one of my auction treasures, and so got the tires, found them used. Then I found those wheel covers. Drove about an hour and a half one way to pick them up, but I got, you know, for the front also. And so I figured for 50 bucks I can invest 3 hours of my time in driving. Wasn't quite 3 hours, but anyway, those things are $300 for a set, 4. So anyway, it spruces it up. And so anyway, tell you what I've been doing, or what I've got done. So got the exhaust manifold put on. Yeah, that was a bear. All those bolts basically came out except for that guy right down there, and I ended up having to drill and tap that one out. And got my brakes put on. I had to wait because they sent me the wrong rotor originally, so I had to wait for the other one to come in. But the calipers and everything, they was all seized up. That one there was really bad shape. This whole wheel was really bad shape. It was down the metal and almost wore all the metal off of it. It was that bad. And so I probably worked an hour getting this line loose on this old brake line, so I wouldn't have to replace that brake line. So I took my time with it, finally got it loose down here. And and then we went to bleed the brakes on it, and I couldn't get anything out of this line, so ended up had to replace the line anyway. So anyway, it's hindsight. I was looking at that line, I need to go ahead and change it anyway, so, but I didn't. So hindsight would have been best. Yep, go ahead and replace the line. So anyway, and then also, let's see, got the brakes, got them bled. We got good brakes now. The parking brake, I put a new parking brake linings, and it's that you can see back there, it's that drum looking thing, and it's fastened to the back of the transmission, and of course the drive shaft fastens to it, and it works off a lever type situation that's in the cab. So I put new brake lines because they was shot. It was adjusted all the way up, and so needless to say, it didn't have any parking brake. So I did that, and then I noticed that that drum fit really tight going back on there, and I figured, well, there was a little rust on the drum. I figured I'd beat just go ahead and put it on there, and a little bit of driving would clean that rust and stuff up, and then it would be fine. Nope, it was still too tight. So when I took it for a test drive there yesterday evening, it didn't have any power at all, and I said, well, something's wrong with the engine, and it didn't upshift. It wouldn't shift. You see, it was shifting the second, but it would not shift any higher, and that was going pretty high RPMs. So then that got me thinking, you know, something must be wrong with that motor and got no power. So I went ahead and did a compression check, and I think this cylinder right here is the lowest one. It was like 90 pounds. Well, and this one's probably, that one's like 150. So anyway, I said, yeah, that's pretty low compression, but it really wasn't bothering me that much because this truck has been setting for like 6 years. So I knew those rings had been setting, and that's the reason why I wasn't really getting good compression. And I think the thing just needs driven. So anyway, what I did, well, then I got to kind of worrying about that transmission and not upshifting. So I got a book for it, and I did a lot of research and stuff. They say that the 545 AT 545 Allison automatic transmission is not a very good transmission. And if you can see this yellow here, I found out this truck used to be a Ryder truck rental. I thought it had a box bed on the back. So still, I think it was the original miles, 189,000, not too bad, and they maintain them pretty good. So anyway, I get to worrying about that transmission. So I come out this morning. Well, yesterday afternoon I went ahead and, well, I got to fix that parking brake. It's not going to work. So I took it all apart again, took it in there, and then took my little air chisel with air die grinder, and to make those particular brake pads work, I had to take a little bit notch out where they go on the pin itself back there. So in other words, bring them closer together just a little bit. So I did that and took care of that problem. So then I did research last night and stuff, and well, what's the deal? How come they don't have any power and stuff? So, and the engine, you could tell by the sound of that engine that it doesn't really have a miss in it. So I think it just needs driven. So I took it for a drive this morning and drove it like I stole it. Didn't care, and that thing, believe it or not, she upshifted. Got her up to like 70 miles an hour and running like a charm. So, and it shifted all the way up. It still lacks for power, that's for sure, but I guess those little 377s or 366, I think it's a 366 6.0. They've pretty known that they're kind of gutless. So I suppose, you know, if you're not in no big hurry or whatever. And you can see that's a governor type situation that's on that carburetor. This don't have a tack in it, so I don't know what it was actually tacking out, but the sound of that engine sounded like it was, I was tacking it out like pretty close to 3,000 RPM and stuff. And like I said, the research that I did about getting piston rings to seat back in and everything is just drive the snot out of it and just drive it and don't baby it and stuff. So, but anyway, that's what I did, and needless to say, she did really good. I can tell by the pan delivered now or not. I'm thinking the fluid doesn't smell burnt. Transmission fluid doesn't smell burnt or anything like that. Let's see if we can get you down here. Well, yeah, I had a fun scare there last night, taking that drive shaft back apart, and took the drive shaft off, and the thing wanted to roll forward, and I said, holy crap. Didn't chock the wheels. So last time I had it apart, I had it all up on jack stands. So got a little scared, but she just rolled about a foot and stopped. Of course, I could have got out from under quicker than it could have rolled. So, but anyway, Yep, chock the wheel. But getting back to that transmission, you can see that old girl hasn't been serviced for a long time. You can see that filter up there. So although it's shifting really good right now and everything, now the previous owner might have just drained the fluid and not take the pan off of it and to change the filter on the inside. So, but for no more than what it's going to cost and a little bit of my time, I'm going to go ahead and drain that fluid and change the filter and change that filter up there. And I was worrying about flushing the system and stuff. Like I say, the fluid doesn't look that bad that's in there. It's a little dark, but it doesn't smell burnt. And that's the only time that you should actually flush a complete system up through the cooler and everything like that, is when you had a failure with the transmission and you got some metal parts and stuff in it. And that's when you want to actually flush it to get all those metal parts and stuff out of it. So needless to say, I'm going to go ahead and do that. According to the VIN number, that's an AT545 transmission. So usually I would call down to Napa and go down and get it, filter or whatever, and but I'm going to do it a little different this time. I'm going to go ahead and drain it, pull that off, and know just exactly what filter I do need to put them in. So I believe the next owner would appreciate that being done, and I wouldn't mind keeping it, but I don't need it for the amount of insurance, what insurance costs and stuff nowadays, and to license it and put plates on it for it basically to sit. It's not feasible for me to do that. So, but anyway, I think I'll go ahead and let it go. Try to sell it, get it put back together. If I get this done, and then I want to check out the bed, and oh yeah, let's show you what else we've done. I had some bad hydraulic lines back here, so a couple of them were seeping, more or less had the rubber all off of them and metal showing. So I went ahead and replaced those lines. I do have a leak or something within that cylinder that's inside that tube that lets this go in and out. And so anyway, I've got to find out what the issue is with that and get that fixed. All the other lines and stuff on it looks real good, and like I said before, that big cylinder that's up underneath there that runs this bed way out and way back in, it's about the length of that whole bed. And you can tell it's been out and repacked. Them cylinders there are looking good, they're not leaking. And I went ahead and replaced the lights all back here. Had a heck of a time with electrical issues with this thing. I think if you go back, remember seeing that first video I did with this thing, nothing worked. Radio didn't work, windshield wipers didn't work, none of the lights worked. Let's see what else with it. Can't think of anything else. Headlights, turn lights, nothing worked. So needless to say, what I was thinking in my mind, that well, there's a ground bad somewhere, a common ground that basically is running all that stuff. Oh, the heater motor blower did not work, and it blew the fuse on it. So I knew right then, blowing a fuse, it's normally the motor. So water had got down in there, and froze that thing up. You can see where that moisture in there, it laid with that much water in there somehow. I don't know what the deal is, how it did that, but anyway, got a new motor coming, blower motor, so that take care of that issue. So then I worked on it for almost a day, looking for all the grounds, every ground that is on that thing. I took it apart, cleaned up, and put back together. Went and checked everything, still nothing worked. And so I said, well, it has to be something else then. I need to pinpoint things down. I took the radio out and I seen inside the radio, it's a two-part system. One part's a controller that's up in the dash, and the other part of it is the equalizer and the main brains and stuff, and it's up underneath the dash. So I took it apart and I could see the circuit board on that main gizmo gadget underneath the dash there, up underneath the dash. That's bad. So I got an aftermarket radio coming in. I was going to try to, I can get the standard radio put in there, but the age of that thing, they're pretty expensive. So I just figured I'd go ahead and update that to a newer style radio that would actually fit right in the dash. So yep, got the water pump on, and let's see. Oh, found out on the lights, this connector right here wasn't getting the signals because it's all coming up here. And I figured, well, you know, troubleshooting, I'm going to find out where the power is going and where it's not going. So they'd make a gadget that it's like a wand you plug in and then you just kind of put it over here and you can tell power in there and you can tell where it's not going. So I might invest in one of those. So anyway, found out that most of the problem was right in here on the headlight situation anyway. And then the turn signals, I found out that I did have tail lights. I forgot. I did have tail lights from day one. So on the turn signals, see if I can find it here. Little flasher guy here is bad. And normally when a flasher goes bad, the light will come on and stay on but not blink. This particular guy, if the flasher's not in there, they won't come on. They won't blink, they won't do nothing. Unless there's something else wrong with that. So what I did do, I went out there at the Big Red, or not, Big Red out there, Shredded Trucks, and borrowed one of their flashers, and it worked for a little bit. And then I ended up just putting a jumper in that. And then of course then it lights up and then they come on. So I need to pick up some heavy duty flashers. Evidently this guy wasn't heavy duty enough or something, so I need to pick up the flashers. And once the radio comes in, I can go ahead and put that all back together there. And let's see, and I think it's about everything. Just needs a really good cleanup then. Get these all limbered up and make it working really good. Get the whole system working really good. I was wondering. Have to check that out. But these were all bent. I took them off. Took the Sledge-O-Matic and got them straightened back out. This one was busted, so I had to re-weld it. And so all the lights work out good now, except I haven't chested these yet. And those back there, on the back up top there. And I need to put a beacon up there, so I'm going to put a beacon and go from there. All right, that brings you up to date. I'm gonna go get to working on draining that transmission fluid. Hopefully, we're making a mess like I did on my old Harley 2 back there. I want to bring you an update on Harley 2. I haven't drove it much more since it's got that shutter and the shift on that transmission. And is that what I'm looking for? I'd be some gun. I've been looking for that socket, and I knew it would show up sooner or later. So anyway, yeah, it had that shutter, and the saying is that torque converter, and mainly sitting. So it just needs drove and stuff. I'm not going to put the front bumper back on it because it's going to go to the paint shop, body shop. My body guy, he's got to put the different doors on there and get this all fixed up, and then of course he'll want to paint that bumper and stuff all while it's off. So anyway, if we drive it like grandma, you know, it will upshift way too soon at a low RPM, which causes it to shudder, and the torque converter is kind of kicking in and kicking out the clutches. And then but if you get on it and run RPMs up like the 2000 RPM or whatever, so to shift at 2000, I mean, she's smooth every one of the shifts. So down there at the Napa store, and he asked me if I tried where's it at? Here it is. Some of this instant shutter fix. So I'm going to try some of that in there. So what's it going to hurt? But like I say, it's on the back burner right now. He's just about done with Harley 1. I've been saying that for a long time now. But anyway, and if he's ready for that, we'll have him go ahead and take it. All right, well, I'll get off here right now and get to work, getting that thing done, and I'll get back with you a little later on updates. GoPro stop recording.